Oh, hey there. How are you guys doing today? Didn't see you guys come in. Are you ready to learn about acrylic paint? Acrylic paint is pigment that is suspended in an acrylic polymer. Unlike watercolor, which can be reworked after it's dried, this becomes quite water resistant. While it's still wet though, it is water soluble, meaning that you can thin it with water. In addition to water, you can also use an assortment of medium that you mix into your paint to make it thinner, thicker, or just to change how glossy it is. That'll allow you to use it in a consistency more like watercolor paint or oil paint or anything in between. It still dries pretty fast, similar to watercolor. Unlike watercolor, once it's dry, it can be painted over really easily and you don't have to worry about damaging the paint that's underneath. Some supplies you'll need for your project include paint, brushes, a palette to put your paint on. I use this old plastic cupcake container, a container of water, a rag to wipe your brush off on, and canvas or canvas board. Remember, most paper won't be able to support your acrylic paint. Now, before we get started, why don't we talk about what we're gonna paint? Pop art. Pop art was a movement most popular in the 1960s. Pop is short for popular. The art movement largely focused on things that were in popular culture at the time.
Pop art was most popular in the 90s.
Okay, I guess we're going to this British guy. This guy cost me a lot of money.
Pop art was a movement that challenged the traditions of fine art by including imagery from popular culture, such as advertising, comic books, and mundane, mass-produced cultural objects. Often as an ironic or satirical statement on society and culture. Wayne Thiebaud was one of the great artists from this period, best known for his colourful paintings of production line objects found in diners and cafeterias, such as pie and pastries. He also painted landscapes and figure paintings, and did not consider himself a pop artist, though he is typically associated with the pop art movement because of his depictions of objects of mass culture. His early works, however, were executed during the 1950s, predating the works of the classic pop art artists, perhaps influencing those who would follow. Thiebaud art features heavy pigment and exaggerated color to depict his subjects, along with well-defined shadows often seen in advertising, and strong contrasts of both color and value.
Ooh, those paintings look pretty delicious. Here are some examples of pop art. Yeah, Thiebaud was not a fan of Warhol's flat and mechanical paintings. Acrylic paint is still relatively new compared to the other paint options available. It wasn't made until the 1940s and didn't become available for commercial use until the 50s. It didn't become real popular until the 1960s and 70s, but today it's one of the, if not the, most popular paint options available. It's more cost efficient than oil paint, and thanks to its lack of chemicals needed to thin it and to produce it, it's a lot safer than oil as well. It's a lot more light fast than watercolor, meaning, unlike watercolor, acrylic paint colors don't fade as much over time. To get started, sketch out a few ideas. Once you have a pretty good idea, sketch it out lightly with a pencil on your canvas. Very, very lightly.
an underpainting using complementary colors, yellow and violet, and shadows. A few layers for my background. From the back to the front. General shapes and colors, and move on to specific details. Some colors over my underpainting. Some finish touches and small details. You can also do a monochromatic underpainting using just one color and black and white. Or you can do an achromatic underpainting, focusing on value with no color scale.
Now that you know what pop art is, think about some ideas on how you can create a piece of art using acrylic paint that's influenced by the pop art style. Let's see what you can create. I had quite a few of those on Thanksgiving. Have a nice day. Calls flat and mechanical, 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 flat and mechanical.